Hi, so my name is Derek. I felt inspired to share my story with living with post-concussion syndrome and kind of telling people what it's like living with post-concussion syndrome and having concussions. Um, excuse me. I've had 4 concussions. They've all been severe concussions, and they've been kind of spread out a little bit. Like my first one, I was just a kid, fell off a wagon. My mom was pulling me, and we're on a sidewalk, and I fell and hit my head on the curb. So that was my first one. I don't remember it. I mean, I was young, first off, and second, I guess it was a really big hit to the head. So fast forward, my sophomore year of high school, I had just moved in. We were living in Albuquerque, New Mexico, my freshman year, and then we had to move because my dad got a new job, so we moved to Hobbs, New Mexico, which is 5 hours southeast of Albuquerque, just about. So I moved to Hobbs, New Mexico, and my sophomore year, I wanted to play football, so I went in and I was having a good time, I was having fun up until just practice. I was a sophomore, and they put the sophomores and juniors up against the seniors for practice. I don't know why they did that, but we were wearing our helmets. It was morning practice, and I took a helmet-to-helmet contact right in front of my head. So that was my first concussion, and I had to leave the football team because it was like I couldn't practice, I couldn't keep up with it, and I couldn't wake up for practice early morning or even school in the morning for that matter. It was really hard to wake up. And I felt like no one really had compassion for that. Like, oh, dude, suck it up. You're a football player, or whatever. Just rub some dirt on it and keep going. And I tried. I really tried, but it was hard. And I felt like such a punk because the team, people of the team were every time I walked down the hall to get to the next class, after I had to leave the team, I felt like a reject. I felt unwanted, and I felt like people thought I was just this chump, that I was this weakling, and I didn't know how to handle that because I hadn't really lived with I hadn't lived with the concussion that I remember, and the pain and symptoms that come with a concussion. I didn't know what it was like, so that was my first experience, my first real experience. And I have to apologize right now. I'm still living with post-concussion syndrome, so a lot of my speech might sound kind of slurred, or even my thoughts kind of move faster than my mouth, so I have a hard time communicating, so bear with me. Anyways, that's my second concussion. Third concussion, junior year, I felt kind of like I needed to redeem myself. I didn't want to be the punk, so I went back in, and things were going pretty good for a while. I was doing better, working out, and keeping up with practice and stuff, and then we had our helmets again, and this time I took another hit to the head. This time was my side of my right side of my head, and I kept on practicing because I felt, well, you know what, I'm not going to chicken out this time. I'm going to go through. In my sophomore year, I went to go see a doctor, and the doctor said no more football, because concussions are a lot bigger of a deal than I think people realize, even that I realized at the time. So I kept on playing, showing up to practice. It was really hard, but then the day before 2-a-days started, I actually got a rib contusion, totally different from a head injury, but on my right side, I got a rib contusion, an internal bruise, which made it really hard for me to breathe. It made it really hard for me to work out and run. I really couldn't keep up with it, and I even had to walk around with this cane because if I wasn't standing perfectly upright, and it was really hard to stand upright by myself because of this contusion. If I was leaning forward even just a little bit, my lungs felt like they were shrunk down to the size of grapes. It was hard to breathe. So because of that, I was walking around with the cane, and the coaches and the players all thought I was just this stupid person, I guess. I don't know, but they probably thought I was some weakling chump or whatever. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't bug me. It doesn't bug me now. But looking back on it, I kind of do, I guess, have some bitter feelings about it. But anyways, that's all in the past. So that was my third experience. And because of that rib contusion, I actually took myself out again, junior year of high school, playing football. And I'm kind of glad that happened, actually, because I'm sure had I kept on playing and just pushing through, I would have done more damage that I probably wouldn't have recovered from. So thankfully, I had that taken out. So now fast forward after that, I graduated high school 2013. I'm 21 years old now. I graduated when I was 18. And I was serving an ecclesiastical mission for my church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or the Mormon Church. These missions that guys serve are 24 months or 2 years. Girls that go out and serve, they serve 18 months or a year and a half. Yeah, roughly. Anyways, I was serving a mission, and I was about halfway through. I was 10, almost 11 months in before I had to go home. But I got this concussion a few months before, or a month or so before I went home. It was April 27th, 2015. I know that because I wrote in my journal every single day as a missionary. I have it right here in front of me, underneath my camera, so I can look at the date and time and stuff. So that way, I can pretend like I remember, but I really don't remember. And that was about 16 months and 20 days ago. I also know that because before I recorded this, I took some notes and did some math, which was kind of hard for me to do. But anyways, so yeah, I've been living with post-concussion syndrome since that injury. I had to come home, which, really isn't all that fun being a Mormon missionary. You come home early, a lot of people are going to raise an eyebrow like, did he do something bad? Or whatever. And it was kind of like, after a while, after explaining my case for so many times for so many different people, I got kind of tired of feeling like I'm a victim of these concussions that I've had, facing the judgment of man, this guy should be able to get back up and at it, but it's really hard to keep pushing forward. It's really hard to keep with this baseline level headache that just doesn't seem to go away. And I know for different people that with concussions and post-concussion syndrome, people experience it differently, I guess, because we're all different in our brains, and also the injuries are just different. For some people, it's post-concussion syndrome stuff will last 6 weeks. Other people last maybe up to 6 years. For me, it's been now a year and a half, just about, and I'm still experiencing a baseline level headache. If you take a normal person's headache, that's about where they are. Normal person headache, my baseline headache is just going at a constant. And every so often, I feel like I get a bone thrown to me where it's oh, I don't really feel like I have a headache, which is nice. But whenever I feel like that, then it's now I don't have a headache, but my body just feels like this empty shell. I had my personality taken out, like a hand from a glove. So living with feeling like I'm not in control of my personality, my ability to express, to communicate, to interact with other people, and then also having the side effects of feeling a heightened level of depression and anxiety even. I've never been diagnosed with any of these things, but I've felt a heightened level of feeling just randomly all of a sudden the weight of the world is now on my head, on my shoulders. I just can't breathe. So living with post-concussion syndrome for the past year and a half, 16 months and 20 days at the time of this video, it's been hard. It's been a challenge. I haven't had a job in the past year. I'm married. I'm married. My wife has been really awesome in supporting me. And I honestly kind of feel like I don't deserve it. And I kind of feel like less of a man, I guess, because, I don't have a job. I haven't had a job for basically the entire year of 2016 up to this point, August 16th or 17th. I actually just came back from a job interview at a local pharmacy food store. I'm kind of at the point now where I feel like I can handle a job. I started working at Jimmy John's, and I only lasted about a week because it's fast paced and I thought I could handle it, but I had to quit because I couldn't keep up, and it was giving me worse headaches. But yeah. So living with post-concussion syndrome is no fun. Sorry for this video is kind of long, but I think from now on, every maybe Tuesday and Thursday or something, I'm gonna post just like a video, like a vlog kind of thing. And it's not gonna necessarily all be centered around like concussions and brain problems and stuff. It'll just be about like my life, my experiences. I want to do this kind of in hopes to maybe help someone that might be going through this same thing, and maybe even just give people permission to feel what they're feeling, and also in a way kind of giving myself permission to feel what I'm feeling and just kind of putting myself out there. So yeah, and I mean the videos in the future, I'm going to try and keep them under 4 minutes. I mean, I know this video is kind of past the 10-minute mark now, but yeah, so that's enough ranting. I'm Derek. I live with post-concussion syndrome, and it's no fun, but I'm surviving, and I'm finding a way in this world. Yeah, until next time, I'll see you later.